You're muted, Judge.
Okay. All right. The 357 District Court will call its court into session for today's docket, Friday, March the 4th, 2022, starting with civil hearing 2021 DCL 7094, Ashley Teresa Herrera and Danny Ortiz. Anybody here for that? Ashley Teresa Herrera versus
Yes,
Danny
present.
Ortiz. All right. Come on the screen, man. All right. Raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Was there
Thank you.
Was there a waiver of citation on this one? All right. All right. Is your name Ashley Teresa Herrera?
Yes, it is.
And you are alleged you were married to Danny Ortiz?
Yes, sir.
On or about June the 11th of 2020 and stopped living together as husband and wife on or about October 3rd, 2021. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
All right. And prior to you filing this suit, did you live in Cameron County for 90 days and in the state of Texas for 6 months prior to filing this suit?
Yes, I did, Judge.
All right. You've alleged that as the grounds for your divorce from Mr. Ortiz is that the marriage to him has become insupportable and due to discord or conflict of personalities that destroys the legitimacy of the marital relationship and has prevented any reasonable expectation of reconciliation. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Right. You also state there is no children born of the marriage, none were adopted and none are expected. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
All right. With respect to any division of property, we have none other than a 2004 Chevrolet Suburban.
Yes, Judge.
And that is, whose Suburban is that?
It's under my name, Judge. I purchased it last year in February.
And why does the sheriff have it?
I don't know. The last time that I know of it, it was there with Mr. Ortiz, sir.
Well, in your petition, you say you've attempted to recover the vehicle with sheriff, was told I had to take to court. So who has your vehicle?
It's at Mr. Ortiz's residence at his mother's home. I attempted to go collect it, but the sheriff wouldn't allow me to take it.
All right, so did you put in your divorce decree that you will get that car as your own?
Yes, I did.
All right. And you're asking this court to grant your divorce?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Court will take additional notice of all documents and file in this case. The court, having called out the name of Danny Ortiz, no answer have been had. The court, having heard the testimony of Ms. Ashley Teresa Herrera in support of her suit for divorce, hereby grants the divorce as prayed for, hereby orders the division of assets as stated on the record, and further specifically, petitioner Herrera is awarded as her separate property the 2004 Chevrolet Suburban. Okay, anything else?
No, that's it, Your Honor. Thank you so
All right.
much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Judge, the only thing is I was going to ask, how do I go about recovering the vehicle?
I don't know. You have to take a copy of this decree. Once it's, I'm gonna sign it, then you get a certified copy and say, here's where I was given, the car is my own. You know,
Okay,
the owner, he's not. All right?
right. Okay, thank you, Judge. I really appreciate it.
I'll sign the decree of divorce right now. And if you said you stated it in there, then you just get a certified copy of that. And present it to whomever, the sheriff or whatever, to recover your car.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Done. Twenty-four TGCL 5108, Cooney. What are we doing in this one?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Morning.
My notes indicate that we're set for status hearing today.
How's it? Well, what's the status, Mr. Escamilla?
Your Honor, we did file a copy of the certificate for the program that Mr. Cooney presented himself to. It was a 4-day, 3 hours a day, 8-week program. I also filed the program description. Mr. Cooney is here today, very proud to tell you that he's 85 days sober. He's continuing his treatment. He's also a part of a couple of groups here locally to help with any issues that might come up after this treatment. So we're here, Your Honor, asking you to please not make any changes to the existing order so that we can continue visiting with the children and get back on track rather than worry about these hearings, Your Honor. We really pray to the court that this case be dismissed.
The court is not going to dismiss this anything. The court is going to kind of monitor the situation with Mr. Cooney.
Your Honor.
I am happy to hear that he has in fact embarked on a road to recovery. It's a long road, Mr. Cooney. It's a long road and it's a difficult road, but it's a road that can be traveled. And if you're on the road, I'm gonna let you continue to be on the road. Now, the certificates you're talking about, where are they? I don't have them in the file.
Then, Your Honor, I haven't received anything to date. I didn't receive anything as far as what was completed, if you visited a psychologist as you ordered. I haven't received any certificate of completion. Last I heard from Mr. Escamilla, he was going to submit to you for approval the information regarding the program that Mr. Cooney was going to participate in so that you could approve it, because my understanding at the time, it was an online program.
Well, let's see what kind of program he got. Mr. Escamilla, you've made a representation that this is in my hands. So I'm gonna ask my coordinator to look at the file and look at what's come in. Has anything come in, Ms. Salas?
And Mr. Escamilla, since I'm counsel on the case, I would greatly appreciate a copy when you file things with the court.
Sure, and the electronic filing system, it's my understanding that it gives you notice when we file and they get accepted.
Not unless you click my name. I haven't received anything.
Okay, Your Honor, it was accepted yesterday.
Well,
we'll email it to you. I can
right now, and if we get it right now, just turn right around. Do you have it in your hands right there?
Yeah.
Well, what would it be any problem for you to just email it to Ms. Rodriguez right now while I get my copy?
No, not at all. I can email it to her right away. And Your Honor, would you like me to email it to Ms. Carranza's email as well?
Is it going to be an exhibit?
It's what I filed yesterday.
Unless it's an exhibit, I don't need it.
Okay. I sent it to you, Attorney Rodriguez.
All right. Did you get it, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, Judge.
All right.
So Judge, my understanding of the last hearing we had was that you admonished Mr. Cooney to participate in rehab, and see a psychologist and undergo alcohol monitoring. And pursuant to my last conversation with Mr. Escamilla, he was looking into a program locally. The certificate that I have been provided, it's one-page certificate. It is a company in Scottsdale, Arizona. They have no local location so far as I can see. The certificate doesn't indicate what he completed at all, nor that he underwent alcohol monitoring or psychological treatment. And that's not what Mr. Escamilla, when Mr. Escamilla asked me about him participating in a treatment program, I indicated to him that he would have to discuss that approval by the court of whether or not that was sufficient, how often, whether it was going to be in person, online, locally, and those issues. And he indicated that there was a program that had the alcohol monitoring, the whole shebang. The only thing I'm seeing is a certificate that he completed something. It doesn't indicate what. Now, since the last hearing, that was mid-December, that we had the hearing, in the status hearing in December 14th. He was supposed to have visitation in Indiana for New Year's Eve, and then we were going to come back for this status hearing to determine visitation for spring break. Since then, he did not do that visitation for New Year's. I believe it was a financial issue. And then he did a visitation about 2 weeks ago for the weekend. Since then, I also have Dr. McIntosh here, who was here at the last hearing. He's the children's present counselor at their school. He is, my client will argue, a neutral person because he is a service, he works for a service provided through the school. My understanding is that Dr. McIntosh will testify that since the last hearing, Ina has become a little more defiant. She has indicated to the counselor that he's a liar, that these are lies, that dad's telling her that this is all a lie. So we're asking, Judge, that the children have spring break. I believe it is the last week of March. My client suggests that he do another weekend, April 1st through 3rd in Indiana again. And she's okay with it being unsupervised so long as it's near her in case something happens. But we do need to come back for a status hearing before the summer because she feels the summer is really where problems start to arise when they're with Mr. Cooney for extended periods of time. But I do really feel that, you know, Mr. Cooney did this in Mr. Cooney fashion. He did it how he wanted to do it and not as directed by the court.
No, Your Honor, that's completely not true. I also filed the description of the program with the court. There you can see that this is a very intensive, serious program where they do random drug testing. This is 8 weeks, 4 days a week, 3 hours a day. The office for this facility is in Dallas.
Where do I find that information to be the case?
I filed
Where is
also,
it on
Your
the
Honor,
certificate?
I filed it as its own lead document, and I just forwarded that email.
Virtual
as
IO
well.
patient handbook?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but what page are you talking about that provides all these things that you just talked about?
Page 1.5 at the bottom right-hand side, you can see page 1.5. There's a program description. And Your Honor, this is not none of these facilities can we undermine when somebody is going out of their way 4 days a week, 3 hours, each one of those days for 8 weeks long. The successes that Mr. Cooney has had, we should be very proud of. It shows that he wants to be a part of his children's life. He did exactly what Your Honor asked. He presented himself to an intensive program where there was actual monitoring, where he was successful, where he's still moving forward and being part of other groups that help. If Your Honor would like to ask Mr. Cooney some questions about it, what he's currently doing with a local program here with Mr. Henschel, who runs a very serious AA program. Mr. Cooney's gone above and beyond what this court, I think, was expecting, especially since he's...
No, not really. Not really.
Where's the proof of the alcohol monitoring if he was monitored?
2 months intense therapy is not what the court expected.
Oh no, Your Honor.
But having said that, you know, you say all these things about this program. I'm unfamiliar with this program. I don't understand. But if in fact it is what you tell me it is, then Mr. Cooney has gained from being exposed to this program and participated and continues to do that, seeking to normalize his relationship with the whole world, I would say, including his own family. That's commendable. I don't have any issue with him trying to do that. As I told him earlier, it's a long road, it's a hard road, and full of temptation. But I think it's much too early to tell me that Mr. Cooney has crossed that hump, because addictions don't work that way. They give you that false sense that, you know, you stop for a little bit, but you're only as good to the next one. So the court is concerned about it. The court right now is not going to alter what has been the status quo. But the status quo that I put before I ordered him to do this is what?
You didn't really have a status quo. You ordered the one weekend.
What is currently going on right now in terms of the weekend visitation for spring break?
He had one weekend in February. You have not made further orders with regards to spring break.
So the divorce decree that was issued in this, I don't
He
have.
gets the whole week.
Okay,
And Your Honor, Mr. Cooney has been alienated from his children long enough. He wants to be
I
part
I
of,
don't think he's been alienated at all.
Your Honor, we would
Any
really like to be able to
alienation is
present some
any
evidence about that. if
alienation
we
is
could.
through his own hand, Mr. Escamilla. Allow me to tell you that. The just uncivilized, bombastic display that he showed in front of his children was just insane. It's insane. That's what compelled the court to do this. That was really, it was incredible to me to see him do that. A professional person.
And Your Honor, like I said in the beginning, all we're doing here is we're here begging the court to allow Mr. Cooney to continue being a father. He's going to do whatever you tell him he has to do so that his visitation is not affected in any way. And because they're bringing up the children's testimony, I really do feel that this court should listen to what the children have to say about this.
Well, but I'm not going to listen to the children when it involves some things that I saw through my own eyes, Mr. Escamilla. I'm just relying on what I saw in my own eyes. If the children are going to come and say that that's a lie, come on. When I saw it on my own, with my own two eyes, I sat here and endured the whole video, as painful as it was to watch. I watched it from beginning to end. And for the children to come here and tell me that what happened there was a total lie, that,
Oh.
you know, why would I want to do that?
No, Your Honor. And what I would recommend that the court does is ask the children about their relationship with their father, not so much about any incident or any event. But remember, here it's in the best interest of the children to have a.
I agree with that. Yes, sir. And that's exactly the reason why I'm doing all this. Not because of Mr. Cooney or Mrs. Cooney. They've understood that from day one when they've been in my court. Everything I've issued is for the sake of trying to keep those children protected from the continuing disagreement that Mr. Cooney and Mrs. Cooney have over life in general, seems to be. But it's not working when Mr. Cooney is over there letting these children into his world, into his adult world and his adult problems. It's not working.
And Your Honor, I have to
That's a
object.
concern, and that's a concern when the child goes around saying that the police were, you know, were wrong and this or that. It had to come from somebody.
Your Honor, I have to object when it comes to those representations being made about the children, making those statements. From one of the,
Well, it's not the first time we hear this.
talk about, if we're going to be able to talk about the statements children made in private, we had a conversation last time about Martha trying to get pregnant, and the young boy on a phone call that I have recorded asked Mr. Cooney why he's trying to get replace his son, and why he's spending so much money with Martha trying to get pregnant. Your Honor, there's things that are going on here that affect the relationship with Mr. Cooney and his children that I think this court needs to consider also. I think both sides need to learn from this. And one thing Mr. Cooney told me is that he was kind of glad that you ordered him, or that you instructed that he go through this program, because it has changed his life. And I'm glad that you're saying that you are going to follow along with this, because hopefully we can see with time that Mr. Cooney can be a success story. Because one thing I can tell you is that he loves his children and he loves Martha more than anything.
I don't have any doubt about that, Mr. Escamilla. He loves the children. I don't. But I think to a certain extent, the children have been weaponized.
By both parties, I think so, Your Honor.
And maybe so. And that's not sitting very well with this court. That the children have become weaponized against one or the other. I'm not very happy about that. That's what I was trying to avoid from the day I divorced these people. That the children would become weaponized for one side or the other. And it appears to me that it has gotten there, or it's getting there, and I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it right now. If I have to remove custody from both of them, I will. They both stand with that knowledge that I will take that extraordinary step of removing custody from both of their hands. I want them to have no doubt that is totally within my power. And I've been never have ever even come close to using that kind of power. But it seems to me that if this doesn't get any better soon, I will look into it. So both of them stand warned that this has got to stop. I told them a long time ago that I did not want to interfere in the way they raise their kids. I didn't want to be a third party in the whole thing. I prefer to stay in my own lane without having to come into their lives. But the circumstances, the way they're developing since that divorce are nudging me to that most extreme of remedies. I haven't gotten there, but it looks like they're trying to push me that way.
Your Honor, I'll remind the court that what Mr. Escamilla testified to as to what he heard the children say himself, since he's the one who testified to it, my client denies that any of that is true.
Well, you know, I know that there's points and counterpoints, and this is what this thing is turned on to. Never mind the concern that the court has about what's going on, the exposure of all this to the children. And then they have become enmeshed and involved, whether intentionally or not, in this whole Hatfield and McCoy situation that Mr. and Mrs. Cooney have going here. They have become involved.
We do have Dr. McIntosh here, ready to speak to the court about his treatment of the children.
That's what I want to do. I want to reset that, but I want to put it on live. I want everybody to show up in my court. I want everybody to show up with all your witnesses. I'm going to give you a special day where they will not be changed. I'm going to move my docket up and down, down and out. And I'm going to give you 2 days to give me everything you got, including testimony of therapists, counselors, and what have you. So
Sure.
I want you to pick a day a week when we can do that, so I can, Ms. Salas, what's it look like?
Your Honor,
And,
Your Honor, if I may, what we would do in that situation is beg the court for mercy. We think that you're more than capable enough to make a decision on what's going to be in the best interest of the children, where we don't need to be fighting against this petitioner. We're here begging the court to allow us to be adults and come to the agreement that we had already done. Mr. Cooney did go out of his way and continues. If the court requires him to extend that treatment, he doesn't mind. But I think that both petitioner and respondent, even though they have these issues, I always see them come to some resolution. I think with Your Honor's strong warnings that these two adults are going to start taking the situation a lot more serious.
I would love that type of resolution. There would be no better resolution for me that this situation be resolved amongst them. But I don't know if I can trust, because after all this time, it doesn't seem to have been good for eliminating the animosity that this thing ended up with. It just looks like the children remind each other how much they dislike each other. I don't know. And I would think that Mr. Cooney's got another relationship. I don't know about Mrs. Cooney, and that you all had moved on forward and thought the best for your children and come back and do the best thing and allow each other to be part of. That would have been the perfect world. By humans as we are, we're not perfect. I understand that. But it just kind of saddens me and disappoints me that the children are getting their butts kicked in this whole thing. That's exactly what I see.
Well, one thing I do not doubt, Your Honor, is that both of these parents love their children very much, and I think are willing to work with each other, especially with the threat that you made of removing custody.
Well, with respect to what you just said right now, that the Coonies would, I don't know if they would. I need to ask both of them, where are we standing on that? Are you still, is it possible, not possible? I don't know. The last time I tried it, I don't know what they came up with something, and then there was disagreements and what. I don't know if they've gotten past that, because if they truly have, maybe it is fertile ground for them to have a discussion. not based on what each one of them is doing or what they've done and who they've married and who they've had relationships with, nothing like that, because that's not what this conversation should be remotely about. But I don't know. I need to hear from Mr. Cooney and Mrs. Cooney. Is that a go? Is there a reasonable expectation that might happen? I would love to hear from them.
Your Honor, since we moved to Indiana, we've had no issues until Michael was arrested last summer. The kids were visiting back and forth. They speak to him regularly on the phone. Everything seemed to be amicable between the two of us. No more issues, no nasty texts between the two of us. Everything got much, much better. It just seemed to come to a head last summer when he was arrested. That's, everything has been fine until that point. That's why we're here now. Not because I believe things have gotten better between us until that point. That's the only reason we're in front of the court right now, because of him being arrested while the children were down there. And I felt like I had no choice but to come to court, about that issue. But other than that, from my side of things, feel like things have been much better, much more amicable. He's not going to be able to show you any proof of, or animosity between the two of us anymore. We make arrangements for the kids, logistic, we're nice to each other with regard to our electronic communication. And this is the first issue that's come up. So on my side of things, I think things are much better.
Okay, Mr. Cooney.
Your Honor, thank you for having me go through that program. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad I did it, but I've already lost so much. I feel that I've lost so much because the kids have moved away from me. So I don't want any more taken from me. And I can see the kids suffering. The kids love me. I'm a great father, Your Honor. And I just want to keep things status quo the way they are. And you have my word that this will not happen again. And you will not see me in this fashion ever, Your Honor. You have my word. And I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. Obviously, Angela has said her piece about that. This was never an issue between you all. We were working together. You were doing it up until this incident. This is a question for both of you. Is this comments and this remarks you both have just made to me, is that good fertile ground for you to have a discussion right now and resolve this problem? Miss Cooney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cooney.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do me a favor, Miss
Yes.
Martha, and send Mr. Cooney and Miss Cooney to a breakout room so they could discuss this. And I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to do this. 10 minutes at the most, so you can come up with the rest of and I want to see how great you guys have been working up to this point.
Just them two, or the attorneys as well?
It might turn out that as you said, up to this point, it was great. You guys were doing great. You were seeing eye to eye. The kids were going back and forth as if no problems. I wanted to get to the point, both of you, where your kids don't skip a beat running between both of your houses. It's like they love it. Oh, I love it. I love being with my dad. I love being with my mom. It's like no problem. My friends over there, my friends over here. What a world. What a world. It all would be due to your efforts to make that world possible for them, where they don't skip a beat. Their life is not interrupted in terms of what you provide, in terms of the comfort and love and support that you provide and that the other house provides and that the family they provide and so forth and so on. It's possible. It's possible, I tell you both, because I did it. And I've seen other people do it. It's a matter of you traveling on the right road. And let's hope that you all can resolve this and come back to me in about 15 minutes. I'm going to send you to a breakout room right now. You all can talk about this.
Just them, or
Join the room.
just them, or the attorneys too, Judge?
No. Well, just Mr. and Mrs. Cooley.
I'm just saying because Mr. Escamilla is there with Mr. Cooney.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Mr. Camilla, just join the room, let him, and then you get how do you know how you do it? You walk out or what? Let
Yeah.
him,
Step out if you want.
yeah,
to go out.
step out and let Mr. Cooney be in there.
Okay. The room is open.
All right. So Rivera,
Yes, Your Honor.
are we ready to go on the criminal case?
Yes. How do I open up that step out room? Nice.
All right, let me call the arraignment docket for this morning. 2022 DCR 129, State of Texas, Myra Joy Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor. She was called 3 times and there was no answer.
Where's the state? Mr.
Case
Jana,
be issued.
Mr. Guy.
State as the case be issued, bond be forfeited, bond be set to no bond, and judgment not side be issued in favor of the state.
Be granted. 2022 DCR 130, State of Texas, Rene de Jesus Lerma Ruiz.
Yes, Your Honor. He was called 3 times and there was no answer.
All right, what's the state?
State as the case be issued, bond be forfeited, bond be set to no bond, judgment not side be issued in favor of the state.
2022 DCR 132, that be granted. State of Texas versus Cristina Trevino.
Yes, Your Honor. She was called 3 times and there was no answer.
What's the state?
State as the case be issued, bond be forfeited, bond be set to no bond, and judgment not side be issued in favor of the state.
That'll be granted. 2022 DCR 133, State of Texas versus Ernest Arajon.
Yes, Your Honor. He was called 3 times and there was no answer.
What's the state?
State as the case be issued, bond be forfeited, bond be set to no bond, judgment not side be issued in favor of the state.
2022 DCR 255, State of Texas, Joshua James Harmon.
Yes, Your Honor. He was called 3 times and there was no answer.
Is Mr. Harmon represented by Mr. Lima, Ms. Nosolis? Or is this no?
No,
Okay. All right, what's the state?
State as the case be issued, bond be forfeited, bond be set to no bond, judgment not side be issued in favor of the state.
That'll be granted. 2022 DCR 260, State of Texas, Jorge Enviar Mireles.
Yes, Your Honor. He was called 3 times and there was no answer.
What's the state?
State as that KB's be issued, bond be forfeited. Wait.
What?
I kind of had a mental flop. State as that KB's be issued, bond
Wait
be
a
forfeited,
minute, wait
bond
a
be set.
minute. He's gonna wake you up.
There at 8, Judge.
That will be granted. 2022 DCR 262, State of Texas, Pedro de Damian Cruz.
Yes, Your Honor. He was called 3 times and there was no answer.
What says the state?
State as that KB's be issued, bond be forfeited, bond be set to no bond, and judgment not side be issued in favor of the state.
They'll be granted. Okay, criminal hearing set for this morning, 2019 DCR 1325, Hector Alejandro Martinez, pretrial diversion, revocation.
Your Honor, Julio Desma here for Mr. Alejandro Martinez. He paid off the balance of the community service, Your Honor. That's all that he owed. But apparently with the DA's office, there's a new policy where we have to go through Mr. Signs on these. So I was gonna ask for a 2-week continuance to be able to speak with Mr. Signs on this, Your Honor.
How long, Mr. Ledesma?
2 weeks, Your Honor.
Ms. Salas? March 18th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are you in Houston already, Mr. Ledesma?
No, Your Honor, I think the 31st will be my last day here, Your Honor.
Well, I just appointed you a capital murder. You can't leave.
I'm pretty sure Mr. James Alonso would be happy about that, Your Honor.
Have a good day, Mr. Ledesma.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good one.
2017 DCR 823, Paola Michael Martinez, Mr. Perez.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
Congratulations, Judge, on your win.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What are we doing with Paola Martinez? That's the one that came back from the Court of Appeals, right?
Yes, Your Honor. We just need trial dates, Your Honor. We're not gonna work it out, so we just need trial dates. My understanding, we're kind of starting to gear up. I can tell the court, I've already got 2 trials in April. I was talking to Mr. Ariola, and depending on the court schedule, we were thinking maybe sometime in May.
Are you involved in the other murder case that I have in my court with Mr. Stapleton? I forget what the name of it, but I'm gonna put that to trial because are you involved in that one, Mr. Perez?
If it's the one, if it's the death case, yes.
No, not the death case. There's just
No,
a murder case.
No, that's the death case is the only one I'm involved with, Mr.
Okay.
Stapleton right now.
All right, well, we haven't set that, I think, for trial yet. Give me a May. Will May do?
Right now, we're thinking May, Your Honor.
Well, will that do?
Yes, Judge.
All right, give me a May date. Announcement is on 13th, trial on the 15th. No, not the 15th, the 16th. The 16th, I'm sorry. Mr. Arriola, are you gonna handle this one?
Yes, Judge.
You need to be ready because there's shouldn't be much to do this because I'm pretty familiar with the facts with this one, and it's not, however you're gonna prosecute her, you should have everything ready to go.
Yes, Judge.
Now, I will give you one caveat, Your Honor. Dr. Gonzalez, who is the expert that was really retained by the state, I know he's got a really tight schedule. So, I mean, we need to, I don't know if Joe's going to do it or I need to do it, but we need to subpoena him like now because I know I'm using him on another case and it's real hard to get time with him.
Mr. Arriola?
We'll send out the subpoena, Judge.
Well, because, that's gonna be, if you're gonna need him live, I would suggest you both subpoena him for the same day or for the same week. I think that, if I remember correctly, his report, it favors both of you, I think. So if I remember correctly, I remember reading it a long time ago, what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Well, just to refresh your course recollection, the report, in his report at least, he found that, she wasn't competent or I'm sorry, but that she had an insanity defense, which the state, obviously that's not favorable to them.
Right.
So that's why I just want to clear that up on the record now, because if they don't want,
I think that it would be incumbent. I don't think the state was gonna call her, but I think it was incumbent for you to call her or to subpoena her.
Okay, well, and I will do,
because it inures more to your favor than it does to the state.
Yes, Your Honor, and I will do that. I'll issue a subpoena today, but I just want to let the court know that he may come back and say that trial date doesn't work. And
keep me advised of what his problem issue is, and we'll work with it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Arriola?
No, Judge.
Martinez, do I have something with you?
Yes, sir. For help. I wanted to see if you can help me out to make a paper in case anything happens to me. I wanted to leave my kids.
Well, Paola, you talk to me about that.
Yeah, talk to your attorney, and he'll counsel you through this. Don't worry about that, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And Your Honor, I'm helping out Mr. Perez on this case. That's why I'm here.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, Paola, you can sign off now.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna have a Salt family, but no, this morning you deserve this one, Mr. The real McCoy.
He was here in person before 8 o'clock.
Hey, I'm gonna get some more of these printed. I am.
These are the best, but we need them to say Magallanes,
Here you
Judge
go.
Magallanes.
Or put a mustache on the rooster.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I want a gold one or something because I'm always on time.
Amber does need a gold rooster. She's always here on time.
No,
I'm gonna make you a gold rooster, Amber.
Oh, Amber's gonna get a golden owl. Verme esa muchacha, puro tecolote, sí. Okay, well, that should be coming back soon.
Have a good morning.
You too.
You too, Nathan. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Alejandro. We're done.
Bye. Bye, Joe.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a nice weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yes.
You're muted, Judge.
All right. All right, dare I ask, and I will, what do we have?
They reached an agreement.
No, yes, thank you, Lord. Okay, what is the agreement?
So I'm going to read what my understanding of the agreement is. Mr. Cooney is going to go ahead and have spring break, March 26th through April 1st.
Okay,
The summer for this year is going to be shortened to 45 days, beginning May 21st. We're going to add fall break in October. And then everything resumes pursuant to the decree.
okay.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Escamilla?
Yes.
There are 2 additional requests that my client has that they did not agree on. My client does not want the phone conversations recorded anymore, whether it's dad recording the kids' conversation with him or him recording conversations while they're with her, with him, with her. They just don't want to be recorded anymore.
Do you have any issue with that? If it's
Your
happening,
Honor, why,
if it's happening, do you have any issue with that?
Yes, I think that Mr. Cooney should be able to record his conversations with his children. I don't see any issue with that at all.
For what purpose?
The purpose would be to document the conversations, Your Honor.
Because what's best for him or what's best for the children?
No,
Let's
not interject, Mr. Rodriguez. Let me finish my question in here. Mr. Escamilla, I'm trying to muster faith that this is not going to happen again. I'm trying to believe 100% that this will be the end of this type of episode. I am hopeful after listening to Mr. Cooney and his realization of where he's been and where he really wants to go with his life and his children's life. I want to trust those words. Bearing that, prior to this, we do not want any more interruption of the kids' lives. Do not record any, either one of you. Don't record each other. Don't record the phone calls. Don't do that. If there's going to be another problem, it will be readily apparent where the problem is going to be, Ms. Cooney or Mr. Cooney.
And Your Honor, can we make a request as well?
Well, whatever, but let's not make a request where it undermines the agreement that the Cooneys have struck.
No, and the request would be that both parties can agree to do their best to work things out amicably. And again, I don't want to be introducing more and more evidence because we do have text messages from Ms. Conklin where it seems like she's alienating Mr. Cooney. All the events that the children do, she might send one picture, one text. She doesn't inform him of the events that she's doing. Can you just ask her to please involve Mr. Cooney with the children's life and all the extracurricular activities that they're partaking in? That would be our request. That he have more.
You know, that should come automatic with the understanding they've reached. That each other one will say, "Hey, send a picture of your mom. Here we are on the island having a blast. Hey, send your picture to your dad that we're at the fall carnival up here in Indiana." You know, what's the problem with that? That helps kind of pave the way to where we want to get. You know, that the children don't miss a beat to the activities and to the households that they're traveling between, both of them. That's part and parcel of that. What this court is trying to engender, that the children feel normalcy in their life. And why not share events that the children are involved for each other when they're in their absences?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, particularly it would be like Eli had football all year and we didn't receive a single photo of it.
Well, she'll do the best she can to inform him and let him know, that he scored a touchdown and he did great and he ran a punt all the way back for a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, that should be part and parcel of helping us get
I have no problem with that, Your Honor.
All
I will
right.
do that.
There you go. No problem with that, Mr. Cooney. When they're with you, you have some event, shoot them over a picture to her. You know what I mean? What's the problem with that?
Yes.
I definitely think that that should be something that you both should do. Whenever the children are not in your possession, share the moments that you're having with your children with the other parent, because it's about the children, not about the parent. All right?
Okay, Judge, as part of our motion to modify, the next issue was the payment for the travel expenses pursuant to the decree. He pays for picking up the children, she pays for returning the children. However, you had ordered that my client has to pay for the once monthly visits that he exercises that he exercises. My client's asking that he now be responsible for that monthly cost.
Your Honor, that was part of when she moved to Indiana. And the fact that
I'm gonna deny that.
Okay, so Judge, my next request then is, if you're not going to order that, would you consider awarding my client attorney's fees for having to bring this action in the first place? And I am willing to be sworn in and testify as to the fees and
I'll direct
expenses.
counsel to submit her affidavit in written form, and the court will take that under consideration.
Yes, Judge, I'll submit an order
And
order
your-
granting or
and your
denying attorney's
affidavit of
fees.
attorney's fees and whatever, complying with the existing law.
Yes,
and Your
Judge.
Honor,
And I will take that under consideration. Yes.
yeah, and we just want to make sure that you understand that obviously we do object. Mr. Cooney has his own.
I didn't expect that you would be on board for this.
Yeah.
I know it's contested.
We both have expenses. Hopefully we can move on from this. Each
But
person.
we'll-
costs.
But we wouldn't be here if Mr. Cooney, if this were
Well-
not for Mr. Cooney's situation.
Right. Well, you guys through? You finished? Okay.
That's all the requests I
All
have,
right.
Judge.
All right.
And I'm assuming, Ms. Conklin, as part of y'all's agreement, y'all did not agree to any continued alcohol monitoring?
I asked her for them,
Mr. Cooney is gonna continue the aftercare. Right?
Okay,
Yes, he's still part of that program.
Yeah, he's gonna continue the aftercare and everything to, it's
Your Honor-
again, I go back to my original statement, haven't been there, it's a long road, but it's a road that can be traveled. And I'm glad he's got on the road, and I'm glad he's walking in the right direction, and I don't see any reason why any other more okay?
Your Honor, one last thing. There's an issue when it comes to the children's passports. We do believe that Mr. Cooney should be able to have access to the children's passport.
That will be denied.
For,
That will be denied, but not forever.
okay.
It will be
And the
denied for
reason,
right now, and we will see and monitor the situation. If it continues to be on the road that it is in, I will give up his passport. We can have him and he can do whatever, because there is full, completely confidence and trust that everything's gonna be okay. We gotta get there. We're starting to walk before we run, and I'm not denying it forever, but right now it will be denied. Okay?
okay, Your Honor.
Thank you,
And I
Judge.
just wanna let you know that we were asking that. I think we will probably have another status hearing before June 2nd. In June 2nd, Mr. Cooney was planning on taking the children on.
oh, I thought we were finalizing this. I thought we were finished.
Oh, okay. Well, even
Ms.
better.
Cooney, I mean, Ms. Conklin, was it your understanding that we were gonna come back?
It was not my understanding. We've agreed on everything. And then, we've agreed on everything
Yeah.
that all the issues.
All the agreements that they've made should modify and should be already set for to address everybody's concern.
Oh, Your Honor, I thought you said that you were going to continue monitoring this, so I assume.
I
that-
am because Mr. Escamilla, I just got elected for another term, so I'll be here for 5 years.
Yes, excellent. Excellent.
So I will be, if there's a problem, both of you know where to find me. And I'm gonna monitor it that way, okay?
So what can we do for the trip that he was planning to take him to Alaska? He wanted to take the kids to Alaska. They have to go through Canada to be able to do that on June 2nd, Your Honor.
I know that.
That's why he wanted the passport, to be able to take the kids on a nice trip to Alaska.
Look, they're talking to each other. Mr. Cooney can pick up the call and talk to Ms. Conklin and say, hey.
She told him no, Your Honor, right now. She already told him no.
Your Honor, I told him to provide me where it shows that he needs passport documentation to take him on this trip. It's my understanding it's a cruise, so they don't need passports for that. So I told him if he provided me a document that said that passports were required for travel.
If you're gonna fly to Alaska, you don't need passports.
No.
I will
That was
tell
my
you that.
understanding.
I will tell you that firsthand knowledge. I just went last year.
Awesome.
So I know what I'm talking about. You don't need the passports because you never land in Canada. You just fly over Canada.
They're going into Canada. I believe it's a cruise. It's a cruise ship, Your Honor.
Well, that, I haven't been on that. I don't know. Upon proper proof that they're required, Mr. Cooney.
Yeah.
Just give it to Ms. Conklin and you have the trip and you'll be able to get it done. Okay?
We'll do that.
All right. Anything else? All right. Submit your orders and
Thank you, Judge.
thank
you, Your
you.
Honor.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your
Yes,
Honor.
congratulations, Your Honor. Glad to
Thank
see
you
you
for your
here.
help.